to Oilersnation Radio, a member of the Nation Network.
Why'd you stop it?
Because you were shaking your head at me.
Fire the intro.
You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, a member of the Nation Network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
Oilersnation Radio, episode 6,291. Bag Milk here. Liam, Tyler, Rick.
Episode 241.
Dan on the Zoom.
It's 242.
No, we're not doing this
Last
again.
show we debated if it was 240 or 241, and I was wrong at 240, and you said it was 241.
I remember the debate.
It wasn't very delicious, though.
I also remember Bag Milk coming down with us in the 6,000s.
Yeah.
And you didn't even catch that either.
242.
No, Tyler was looking at like rainbows and
242.
unicorns and shit.
242.
Oh,
Yep. We're good. We're good.
Liam is correct. Tyler, apologize.
Sorry, Liam. Well, you didn't apologize last week to me.
As we do every week on the podcast, we are going to start this off with a delicious debate for our friends at Oodle Noodle and DoorDash. New location opening in Calgary very, very soon for our friends at Oodle Noodle. Dan, Tyler, and I actually saw it. We stood outside. It is going to be wonderful for all of you in Calgary. It's going to be opening real soon. Also, the Clareview location, if you're here in Edmonton, has reopened. They are ready to walk. Liam, see what I did there? W-O-K. Tyler, what do you got for us for today for the delicious debate?
As we get closer, Frank Saravalli has his trade targets out. dailyfaceoff.com. If you love trade rumors and trade talk, this is like your Bible for the year. He's got it all in there. He's got 20 names on that list, players who could be moved. What's the biggest need for the Edmonton Oilers as we start to slowly creep into trade season?
I like that you changed the delicious debate from what you told me it was going to be.
I did. I didn't like the idea of piling on one player, so I wanted to go this way, and we'll get into the other stuff later.
I had a whole thing that I was going to talk about. I will save it for later.
We'll get it.
All right. The biggest need is we are now 20 games in, basically. Tomorrow against the Islanders will be the 20th game of the season. Liam, biggest need for the Edmonton Oilers right now as you see it?
They got to find their next Brett Kulak. I think when the Oilers brought in Kulak last year, it really helped change the dynamic of this team and kind of put everyone in the right position. And obviously with Duncan Keith being gone, now you need that next guy. And I think that's what you got to go find. What's the guy from Columbus called? Gavrikov?
Vladislav Gavrikov.
Sounds like he could be a decent option for this team.
But he's young and he's never played meaningful hockey.
Well,
I don't hate the idea of it either, but like he's like 26.
27.
27. Okay, maybe yeah.
Eric Carlson then? Someone brought that up today on the chat and we spoke about it on Oilers Nation every day. That would be awesome. That would be a lot of fun. But man, that would be extremely. You would have to make it a 3-team trade somehow.
Yeah, he'd have to get down to like.
Yeah, but
how would you do that?
You can't get it. You can't. Like, if you're going to add a third team to take 4 years of Carlson money, you're giving up a first round pick just for that.
Yeah.
Would you?
No, he's not worth it.
I wouldn't either.
And I know people might hear me say he's not worth it and be like,
what if it's a first round in 2 years from now?
Yeah, because that seems to be the going rate these days. They're just chucking them down the road.
I don't do it. Erik Karlsson's injury prone. He's 32 and you're going to have to give up a lot to get him. Okay, let's frame it this way. To get Karlsson.
Great hair, though.
Great hair. Plays with Snoosen.
As a guy with a mustache.
Yeah.
You can probably appreciate his mustache as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Rick?
You got to zoom that thing in.
The thing with Karlsson, okay, so if you're going to do it and you get a third team in on this, you're going to have to attach a first round pick at some point to get some team to take like $3 million of this guy's deal, at least. You're going to have to give up a pick to San Jose. Probably going to have to give up a prospect as well. Are you not a better team giving up a first round pick for just a good shutdown D-man, which will be the going rate, and then giving up that prospect and another pick for Jonathan Taves?
I guess I'm still surprised that we're talking about a 3C when the holes on defense are so glaring to me.
And that's fair.
I'm kind of torn. I think they're both as important as each other because if you can have a better forward group who's good defensively, then that helps. Takes a little bit off the defense. Maybe it takes away 2-3 chances a game. And then your defense looks better because they're not having to go up against such high danger chances. So I guess they kind of balance each other out a little bit.
Chicken and egg scenario, if you will.
Yeah.
But like
If you want,
somebody mentioned it early in the episode talking about like the replacement level players. And that's my problem, is that every second night we're playing Ryan Murray on this team. And so for me, it's defensive depth. There's all kinds of shenanigans going to be going on behind the cameras as I'm talking. But it's, I don't know, like I'm with you, Tyler. Bag Milk. I don't understand the concept of looking at our forwards and making any changes outside of Bakersfield options when you've got so many issues on defense, and we still
I don't think you have that many issues on defense. I think you have one glaring issue on defense.
What is the issue?
You just need that big shutdown type of guy.
Are you trading Evan Bouchard like Jay is?
No, I'm not trading Evan Bouchard, but I do think, so I think your move on defense, you have to, if you're looking at one, you're probably going to end up having to move Tyson Barrie, which scares me on numerous levels because I do think he's really good in the room and I think he's a really good teammate.
Decent dancer.
Yeah. I feel like he's a big part of this team right now. And so you're going to be creating a hole when you move him. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I think they're definitely feeling the loss of players like Duncan Keith and Mike Smith and what they brought even on the ice and off the ice.
what are they missing with Mike Smith?
The bravado, if you're a hockey player and you're in the NHL and you're looking at a guy who's played in the Olympics and has a gold medal for Team Canada, that means something to you. And I don't
think it does.
Sure it does.
I don't think like Marcus Niemelainen is like, fuck, I'm playing great because I got a guy who won a gold for Canada.
No, but
here.
you're listening to him.
He was also like he
gives you when he's talking, you listen to those guys.
I don't know. And I think maybe like right now in the moment you miss that, but I think as the year goes on, this group will find their own voice and then they'll miss Smith less.
And I think that's what they wanted to at the beginning of the year. But there's times when these guys just play so level-headed that someone needs to like throw some caffeine in the water bottles and wake the guys up a bit. And I think those are the type of players that get you going. And we don't really have that. We don't have that energy starter. We don't have, they see all these stupid ass videos of guys lining up in the hallway before they come on the ice. And Brad Marchand's bouncing off half the fucking team. We don't really have anybody like that. Somebody who's going to get the fucking boys going. I think somebody like Mike Smith probably did.
Do you know what's funny? The only thing I can think of guys coming through the tunnel is when Bouchard, Fogle, and Yamo bump heads. Yeah. And out of those three, I would imagine they're probably the three quietest guys on the team.
Well, like, so then is that on the leaders of this room? Is Nurse, McDavid, and Draisaitl not vocal enough?
It's not about being vocal though. I think it's about being just naturally energetic. And I just don't think we have added that element to this team.
I recommend
it's natural that you can't fake it.
Norwegian death metal.
Yes. We need Yanni Nienema to get the fucking back on the DJ.
But like, can't Mike Smith just be like around? He's still on payroll.
And you know what I'm saying? Like we need that type of a fucking player.
Get him to yell at the people before the game starts.
So would you go get Ryan Reeves? He's healthy scratch. Could probably be had for a 5th round pick.
$2 million or just a shade under $2 million?
Shade under 2. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to have him on the team, but I don't know if we have the fucking space for him. I think at this point right now, at this point in the NHL with flat cap and where we're sitting, we need to be very precise on who we get because you don't have a lot of room for error or a lot of room to throw around extra money. You need to be sure about this and you need to go find the best of the best of the best. And there's not really a lot of options out there.
Tyler, sorry, go ahead, Liam.
I was going to say, like, throughout the offseason, like, Barry's just a name that gets thrown around because of how much money he makes. But I think the team needs him.
Yeah.
More than we think you need him. And the lack of the leadership they lost over the summer, like, say what you want about Keith and Smith, like they did mean something to this team.
Mm-hmm. And
I think removing Barry from the locker room as well is just a recipe for even more disaster.
Well, you definitely have to bring in that big personality, same type of person as a return.
And then they have to build themselves into the locker room too. It's just like such a long process. And I don't think the others have that much time to do that. They're better off trying to bring someone in for maybe one of those forwards that makes $3 million than moving a Barry out of the door.
I want to build off something Dan said too. You talked about, getting a D-man and how, the forward group is probably fine. You have to get better defensively is kind of your point, right, Dan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a team defense in my...
so that's where I want to go on this. Are you not maybe better defensively by getting a Jonathan Toews? If every time or if for 90% of your 5-on-5 minutes, if one of McDavid, Draisaitl, or Toews is on the ice, I think you're better defensively down the middle.
I agree. And I think I'm okay with that type of a move because I think he's the Captain Serious. That dude's going to get you going. Do you not remember when he was like fucking losing his shit in the fucking penalty box and Seabrook had to come up?
People always say Seabrook was the real leader of that team and Taves was just the guy who got the C because he was the superstar.
Well, at least you're going to learn. Like, I think you got to bring something. I mean, I didn't know that much of it. I just remember him going nuts in the penalty box and someone have to calm him down. We don't have that right now. So
the other thing too, and I think this is where I'm getting with this kind of long-winded point is Dan talks about, okay, you need a defenseman because this blue line's not good enough. Me and you sit here and go, well, the team defense needs to be better. If they don't address both of these, it's a failure by Ken Holland. That's absolutely fair. Need to make more than one addition this year. This cannot be, we can't sit there on March 3rd and we're so far away. And I get that. But if we're sitting there on March 3rd and Ken Holland goes, Evander Kane's just like a deadline acquisition and we gave up a 3rd round pick for Ali Mata. Come on. Like, we can't do that this year. We need like 2 impactful trades to push this team towards Stanley Cup contender status. And honestly, a month ago, 2 months ago, I didn't think that'd be the case. I thought they were a D-man away from putting the finishing touches on a great roster. And this first month being 10-9 through 5 weeks, I should say, showing me that they're more than a piece away. And that's unfortunate. It hasn't been a very favorable schedule either. They have had a decent schedule. Stanley Cup contenders don't give a shit about their schedule. They just win. They also don't really give too much care what their record is on November, whatever the hell today is. 22nd. I'm not overly worried about the record, but I'm like, frustrated. But the process has led me to kind of go, this team's maybe not as good as we thought they were. But at this point in the summer, you were sitting there going, by the playoffs, we're probably gonna need to add a 3C and another D. No, I look at this team right now, or that type of a player. Yeah. So we're just in the same spot. Now it's about time to start addressing it. I look at this team right now and I don't think any trades are coming. Probably not. I think that looking at the lineup, you've got some guys on here that they need to be better. Yeah. And until that happens, so this is kind of reminds me of last year when the Oilers went on that disastrous run that was 2-11-2. It's not that bad. We're going 1 win, 1 loss, which is obviously frustrating, but when Connor and Leon kind of come back down to earth a little bit, you need other guys that are there chipping in with goals because it's not realistic to expect them to play 2 points a game all season long as they start off every year. Unfortunately. So who are those guys? Right now, Ryan, Warren Fogel's playing a little bit better since he got that goal in Tampa. You love to see it. But he's only playing better when he's on the ice with the Stars. Well, somebody's contributing. I know. I liked him on the PK too. Because I'm looking at the stats right now. Ryan McLeod, he can't get anything to go right now. And bad luck. There's some bad luck there. Yes, Puljujarvi, he can't get anything to go right now. Kaylor Yamamoto, obviously he's hurt. He's been out for a while. He still doesn't have a goal. Dylan Holloway still doesn't have a goal. And again, he's a rookie, but ultimately these are pieces you need to contribute on the offensive side. And having 0 from them, and I don't necessarily care what the underlying numbers say, you have to get goals. And the Oilers are not getting enough of them from guys that are not named Connor, Leon, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman. Nuge is having a great year. Fucking heater. Can you imagine if Nuge wasn't having a bounce back, how we'd be feeling about this forward group right now? Well, and there's also the lack of it's not just losing Evander Kane's production. He brings a certain sense of swagger to the lineup that they just cannot replace without him. And that's some of the thing I was talking about with the Smith and just that type of bravado you bring to that. It just expels through everybody else. He's going to bring you into the fight, whether you want to or not. He's going to score goals. He's going to mix it up. And God love Klim Kostin. It's just not the same. You know what? For a bottom 6 guy, maybe a 4th line guy, I really like the way he's been playing. I've only watched a game and half, just have with work and stuff, but I've actually liked him the way he's doing out there. I got all kinds of time for Klim Kostin, actually. So I want to hear from you, Owen Radio Podcast. What's the Oilers' biggest need right now? Who hasn't gone? Dan? He said... Well, I went defense. So a mix, really.
Do you think you list off all those names that aren't scoring, do you think that's a bigger issue? Yeah. Because if we're winning by so many goals, you'd almost demoralize the other team. But we can't just get out to these leads like we have done in the past because guys outside of the big 4, excluding King because he's not playing, obviously, aren't doing shit. And then when we came out of... They're just not. When we came out of 2-11-2 last year,
Derek Ryan, I think, popped a couple right away. And all of a sudden, all of a sudden, these guys in the bottom 6 or even bottom 9, if you really want to think about it, started to pop them in. And we're getting like little bits here and there.
Yeah.
They're not consistent enough now.
Who scored who got the goals last night? Draisaitl,
Nuge.
and Nuge.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was Draisaitl, Fogle, and Hyman.
Yeah. So there's
So your last 5 goals, you won bottom 6 goal. I can't remember what else happened after that, but it's just like, these guys got to do something.
right now
There's no trade value either.
There's no trade value, and they're just essentially the best we can hope for from too many guys on the roster right now is that they don't get caved in, and that's not a great spot to be in.
It's very familiar,
I'm
though,
change
isn't
my
it?
answer.
It feels like home in a sad way, but like I'm tired of it. But right now, as we're recording, November 22nd, the Oilers are in 5th place in the Pacific Division.
Oh yeah,
That sucks, man.
Here's the other thing, though. Like, again, in the moment right now, this is really frustrating. But Coombsy and I did Oilers Nation every day today. And it was like, man, they fired Dave Tippett in February. Like, we are not even close to that. The Oilers could go on a heater and be leading the Pacific Division by February this year.
Exactly.
And last year, this was a team that took a long time to find their identity. Granted, they needed a coaching change to make it happen, but you're right. Once they made that change, it was like, shit, Ryan started scoring and all this kind of stuff. And this year, you don't have a coaching change. You don't have that bullet in the chamber. I'm not sure if a trade is going to shake this team up, but I also think with the amount of sort of fresh faces in the room and some of the key vocal pieces not being there, maybe this should have been more expected than we thought. Maybe we should have expected more of a learning curve.
Maybe, but I don't know that I could have reasonably expected to be 19 games, 20 games into the season, and Evan Bouchard doesn't have a goal. Keller Yamamoto doesn't have a goal. Yes, Puljujärvi has 1 goal.
Yeah, that's those 3 names there. That's a big surprise.
I didn't see that coming.
No.
Now, do you honestly think that's going to extend through the rest of the year?
No, I don't.
That's kind of why I'm not terribly upset. Like, I'm frustrated, but I'm not worried or upset. And I don't want to make a snap decision on a trade right now. I do feel like we're playing kind of like that 2-11-2 last year. And outside the first 3 games of it, I think we're going to smacked around. There were a lot of just bad luck type of things.
Like last night's game. Let's get into last night's game as an example. Again, if you want to chime in on what the Oilers' biggest need is right now, hit us up, Owen Radio Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. For our friends at Oodle Noodle and DoorDash for the delicious debate. I want to talk about last night's game, though. Oilers, I thought, had their best first period in quite some time. They outshot the New Jersey Devils 10-4. Yeah, there was the goal against, and it sucks, but it was what it was. Solid start to the game on the road. Second period, not really the case. Third period, started to get back into it. Nuge got that goal 5 minutes in. Wheels fell off. So what do you make of a night like last night? Obviously, you got to tip your hat to the New Jersey Devils. They're on a heater of all heaters right now. 13 straight games. Sometimes what are you going to do? But I also thought the Oilers had a chance to win that game and ultimately blew it.
I think it changed after the Skinner giveaway.
The second goal?
Yeah, and I'm not good.
And then he fell down on that second one too.
Yeah, like I'm not, and it's weird. I know it's a loss and this is not a moral victory type of thing, but I felt better about the game last night than I have some other losses this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It felt like they were in it, but I never felt like they were going to win.
Yeah, and like we were talking about before, I thought, we were probably going to be, if we could keep within a goal or keep it tied the rest of the way, then you always have that chance with type of offense we have. But they got the lead by a goal, then 2, pulled it back, then they got the lead again. And I think that kind of not demoralizes, but then it changes your game style too, right? You got to play way too offensive. They took advantage of their chances. We shot ourselves in the foot.
Well, and the Devils, they played a really clean hockey game. Yeah. They made very few mistakes.
Yeah. And when you play good teams like that, like it's really hard for teams to play mistake-free hockey. Sure. The Devils were close, but Hyman had that look right in front of the net where the Devils coverage fell apart, and Hyman fired it wide.
Oh, man,
there was
just a bit outside.
I wanted to backhand it to Nurse. That was perfect for him.
The play where McLeod had a wide open net off a Devils turnover, and Hyman stopped it. Okay, there's another one. You had a chance. And then there was the turnover. I forget if it was Fogle or Hyman, whoever it was in front. Also, same thing. Brutal turnover by the Devils D-man. Vanacek makes the save. And it's like, okay, you got 3 mistakes from the Devils. They gave them right to you. And you didn't score on any of them. And when the Oilers made mistakes, Nurse, bad pinch, boom, back in the net. Skinner fumbles it, boom, back of the net. Skinner falls down, back of the net. 3 mistakes the Devils scored on.
Was the bad pinch the Pugliarvi nurse?
And the Tatar's little beep, pop, pop.
That was just like, the puck was really bouncy, and I'm not trying to give any excuses there, but that was just like, the bobbly puck, and we don't win these 50-50 battles right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like sometimes you just watch this team and it's because they're skilled and they have a very skilled roster, but sometimes they just don't look like they work hard enough.
But it's kind of like they're too even keeled. Like they're always just going in fourth gear or whatever. And then when they hit 5, look the fuck out, here they come. But it's just like sometimes they're like, okay, don't worry, we got this. Don't worry, we got this. Don't get too.
That's what was frustrating about last night too, because on Saturday against Vegas, they fucking worked for 60 minutes and they got the win. It wasn't pretty, but damn it, those 2 points, you love them. Yeah,
they still made mistakes, and like that third goal, they're the tying goal they lead to. It's just they don't have a complete game yet.
There was a play in the third period, and I almost shouldn't have brought this up because I feel like I've been ragging on the guy a lot recently, and I don't want to because I really like him. But there was a play in that third period yesterday when they were down by 2. Ryan McLeod picks it up in the neutral zone to do one of his patented zoom in, squeeze past the D-man, and he scoops it up. And there were 2 players he would have had to go through right at the blue line. And he got to the red line and he turned back and he like circled back into his own end. And then the Oilers never got the puck into the zone. And it's like, okay, put that deep and go get it.
Respect the blue lines.
And you might get hit. You might have to hit someone. It might not be a flashy or a lot of fun, but good teams do that.
Yeah.
I have to give Tyler credit because I've noticed since Tyler mentioned on this very podcast a couple of weeks ago that McLeod is the guy that does the flybys more than anybody, and it just kills me now. I see it every time, and he just the hits where it's it's not going to be a massive hit. It's just going to let the defenseman know that you were right there, and he just misses those every time. It's killing me, the little things with Ryan McLeod.
See, and this is why I liked watching in the training camp when Kane was roughing up 2 players. One is Pugliarvi, see him playing or more physical this year, and 2 is McLeod. It's kind of a way like, boys, like this, get in here, like rough shit up.
You're not going to get hurt. You're going to get in the mix.
It's okay. Like, let's get in here and like have some fun with this.
Well, and the thing with like Ryan McLeod too, like no one's expecting him to lay out devastating body checks. It's just getting in the fight a little bit more.
Or Steven's putting your body in front of the other dude so he can't keep skating.
Make life difficult because that guy's got so many wheels. He could pop in and out of there like so well.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
It's like McDavid. McDavid goes around and throws a big hit every once in a while, and it's just purely his speed. It has nothing to do with him out-strengthening anybody.
Yeah, he's 200 pounds into you, but yeah, he'll hit.
200 pounds moving at the speed of a car in a school zone. Yeah, like that'll hurt.
That's just science.
Anything else from last night's game that stuck out to you? I'm going to defend Stuart Skinner. I like last night at the B-cast, there was a lot of people just, fucking Stuart Skinner. Like there was one guy that the goaltending was not up to par last night. And I think we'd agree with that. He was shitting on Jack Campbell for like 10 minutes until eventually I was like, hey man, you didn't play.
Wow. Could have made 1 save.
Well, he did make 1 save.
He did make 1 for 1. What are you talking about?
That's a perfect example of the season so far.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're going to get to Jack Campbell, poor Jack Campbell in a second. But like, what did you make of Skinner's game last night? He's been so good all year. You give him the write-off.
The worst game he's played all year. And it's
probably
I'm not being critical. It's just what he was.
Hey, and it's bound to happen.
He's been so good.
Yeah. He's had 2 games where he's been below average, and they've both been against the Devils, one of the best teams in the league. So
I'm not. Yeah, there's no need to be worried.
Yeah,
like you made a mistake. How often do you really see him play the puck?
I don't even mention that. I don't even mention. Yeah, it is what it is. Like get over it. This isn't a goalie who's out there making stupid ass mistakes. It's a mistake. Guess what? Part of being a human is making mistakes.
It's also a rookie.
Yeah,
I didn't get. Oh, I was just gonna say I didn't get to watch the whole game, unfortunately. But was that the first time the Devils have been held less than double-digit shots in the first period? I feel like it has to be one of the times. Like there was only 5 shots against in the first period, and that for the Oilers, I mean, that was a win in my opinion.
Well,
but then.
Yeah, Dan, that's exactly why it was a little bit frustrating to me last night because I thought the Oilers like, man, they came out like, that's the start you need. Yeah, it's a tie game after 20 minutes, but like, man, we got something going here.
Look good.
That's a good road period, especially against the New Jersey Devils team like that.
I think if the Oilers
knew they were coming relentlessly after that.
if they bring that same style of game against the Islanders, take out the mistake from Skinner and maybe like one of the mistakes in front of them, like they'll beat the Islanders tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that in a sec. I got to give a shout out to our friends at Tourism Jasper. Tyler, did you know that their half price lift tickets for only $89 to Marmot Basin?
Interesting. I want to know a little bit more.
The best deal in the Canadian Rockies is back, baby. Save up to 50% on regular price adult, senior, and student youth lift tickets every day, all season, no blackout dates. I repeat, no blackout dates.
Let's go to the Rockies, baby.
To get involved.
Wow.
To go out there. Liam, you're going to want to listen. You're going to want to pay attention here.
Yeah.
Jasper.travel / escape. Jasper.travel / escape.
There you go.
Do you guys ski or snowboard?
Ski.
I snowboard.
I don't
run
really do
down the
either,
hill
but last time I was out, I snowboarded sort of. I mean, I was on
Isn't
it.
that harder?
I like the only time I've ever skied, I think was like fucking 10. To be fair, I think I'd probably be better at skis because I can skate.
It's like skating.
I would probably be better on a snowboard than.
But a snowboard is.
I haven't gone
it's
skiing
different.
since I'm probably 8.
Yeah, but you were like a prodigy snowboarder, so that makes sense.
Well, I mean, no, but I can do it effectively. Yes.
Will you be taking the ramp?
I would take a ramp, sure.
No, at the thing in December.
Oh, that thing?
Yeah.
Come on.
The ramp?
Yeah,
FIS
at the
Snowboard Big Air World Cup.
yeah, the big air competition.
Oh, right.
That thing would probably make me poo myself.
Softer landing.
Yeah, tickets
Just
are
a
available
little
now.
bit. Just a little nugget. Just bonk.
You know
As I'm
what?
standing up top. If you haven't
Remember
seen the
when Chris-
ramp, Tyler
remember
posted
when-
them on the real life socials.
Spooky.
The ramp starts at the top of Commonwealth.
Yes.
I'm standing up there. A little nugget rolls down the leg.
That's gross.
Yep.
You remember when Chris, the intern, had an opportunity to go down the Red Bull crashed ice course, Bag Milk?
And what happened, Dan? Why didn't he do it?
Tell me.
He had a tummy bug that morning.
Because he was pooing himself.
What the hell?
All right.
I'm a skier, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you asked. You probably wanted us to ask you back.
All right. Let's look ahead at
wait.
tomorrow. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's pause for an ad first.
I just did one. Let's talk about tomorrow night's game against the New York Islanders. This is a game I think the Oilers have to win. The Islanders are a beatable team, in my opinion. Although I think with the Oilers at this point, I think Tyler said it. Every team should be a beatable team, to be honest. That should be the expectation. Tomorrow, I think they need to beat the Oilers or the Islanders, but I want to start off with our boy Jack Campbell. Poor Jack sitting there watching the game last night, or maybe not watching. It gets a puck deflected right into his face, breaking his nose. If that is not just like the universe telling us what kind of start to the season Jack Campbell has had, I don't know what is.
It's got to be rock bottom, right?
Well, that's a great way to start a story. Like he all of a
comeback?
sudden, after the broken nose, he all of a sudden goes 38-0. He's got like a 982 save percentage.
Yes.
Like it's just that's how his story starts.
Leave me having a chuckle here. Poor Jack
just-
Campbell takes a puck to the face.
I just happened and I thought, of course. Like,
But you can't-
There is no way. It looked like he even like waved to stop it and still missed it. He's just gonna make it up. I hope he's okay. He said he was fine, but man, his nose is a bit bigger than it was yesterday.
A little bit bigger. I was actually worried that I thought he took it.
You've been a fan for the Oilers a long time.
Yeah, of
you know
course.
damn well what you thought first. I was like, oh no, it's like a broken eye socket. Like
I thought it hit him in the eye.
That's what
This
they
dude,
said.
like, we're bringing in, and then of course you're reading right away. Someone on Twitter is like,
The
the card's
e-bug.
out. Now we're bringing up Ollie or something like this. So it's like,
You see the e-bug getting
Oh.
dressed and you're like, oh
Oh,
no.
yeah, he did, didn't he?
it wasn't even the e-bug that scared me. I was like, whatever, we can get through this game. It's what's happening tomorrow. Like, yeah, like Jack Campbell lost his
Because the way TD
eyeball,
Forrest like
and-
was holding the towel, I'm like, oh, that hit him right in the fucking eye.
And
Come
then
on.
even on the broadcast, they mentioned eye for some reason. Like, I think it hit him in the eye. They said, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I've seen this story.
It's almost
before.
good news it hit him in the beak, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it is almost good news that
Could have
that's
hit
where
him
he
in,
took
the
it.
mouth. Could have lost some chiclets and shit. Yeah.
But
It's not the eye. This is like when Taylor Hall got his head stepped on.
yeah. In a
Like
way.
it's in warm ups and it's just like not like, oh, it's just probably just like, and no, you fucking clipped him right in the head, or you know, it's. I had a lot of PTSD there yesterday. It was
Poor Jack
well-deserved,
Campbell.
by the way.
Do you put him in net tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is he healthy enough?
Good question. Can he breathe?
Well,
I don't know.
Did not seem to have any black eyes today, so I don't think they're swelling at all. So,
But like maybe that again goes to the turnaround, the comeback. Once those things get real dark and he's looking at you, you're like, oh, what the fuck? What's going on with this guy? He's scary.
I'm telling you, this is the beginning of a story.
Dan, you playing Campbell tomorrow? If he's able.
That's the scary part for me is the broken nose. I've always heard about the don't blow your nose because that's the instinct that you have instantaneously is to try and blow out the blockage or whatever. And so that's why he didn't get the bruising around his eyes. Have you ever heard that before, Tyler?
So Dan, for those at home, can only see me on the Zoom.
Yes.
He's only seeing my camera. Dan, everyone's making the same facial expression I am.
You've never heard of that before when you get a broken nose that like the first thing you want to do is like it feels like your nose is plugged and so you want to blow out and then that's when you get the bruising under your eyes and into your
What are you blowing out at that point?
Cartilage.
Oof. Anyways, so yeah, I would just be worried that Campbell's like that there's going to be some kind of an issue that happens there. I wonder if we see an e-bug on the bench for tomorrow's game.
No, you'd have enough time to get a goalie.
Yeah, they would have called someone up if Campbell would be ready.
Yeah.
So Dan, just to
And he's practicing today. He was in the starter's net today, I believe, this morning.
further your point, I found this is from the UFC.
Yes.
Why you should not blow your nose after a fight or having your nose broken. Unfortunately, it increases the venous blood pressure by blowing one's nose after a soft tissue surrounding the eye has been damaged, which causes rapid loss of blood from the leaky veins and profound swelling, which can result in your eyes swelling shut.
That's awesome.
Wow. Has anyone
I watched that happen
Yes.
to a guy in front of me one time after a fight. So yeah, it's not pleasant.
So there you go.
I bet you it'd look kind of cool.
Dana White teaching us things today.
Thanks, D.
Yep.
Shout out Dana White. Ends the episode.
What do you expect from Jack Campbell tomorrow, provided he is able to, he doesn't blow his nose between now and tomorrow?
Baby.
What is a reasonable start for Campbell tomorrow against the Islanders?
I have no idea.
I think
That's a terrible answer for sure, but like,
the exact same expectations you had at the beginning of the season.
I guess stop the puck as many times as you can. And hopefully only allow 2 goals or less and the others win.
Motivational speaker Liam.
I love it.
Tyler, what's a reasonable start for Campbell tomorrow if he does get the start?
Just be above 900, my boy. Just
That is a low
stop
bar.
90% of the shots you face, and we'll be cool.
I was talking to this goalie guy that I know, and
Was it Grant
Hockey
Fuhr?
or soccer?
hockey.
Okay.
And he was like, I was talking about it and I was asking him like what he thought of Campbell. And he's just like, oh, he's just kind of having a weird season, whatever. And then he said, and I agree, it's like, they're just going to literally throw the numbers out. Like whatever Jack Campbell's numbers are right now, like they just should be wiped from existence, because after the math Tyler did is like, you're never going to get respectable numbers unless you have an absolute insane rest of the season. So you just got to kind of like clean slate for Campbell. Like,
So we're looking at wins and losses now for him.
No, I'm looking at like, what did he do last game? Oh, he got a 9-10. What did he do before that? Oh, he got another 9-10. Like, it should be like a game by game.
Season starts now.
Yes.
Season starts now with the broken beak.
Yeah.
Yeah. New era.
Yep.
Just
Broken
allow
buzzer.
3 goals or less. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I think that is, you know what I'm saying is Dan, actually. 3 goals or less.
I'm going to say 2.
Yeah, but if they win 4-3 and he faces 36 shots, you'll be happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
The
Well,
Islanders
happier if it's
have won more games 4-3 than any other score this year.
Save the puck line.
Do you know what? Don't allow crap.
And don't
I
suck.
think that's a good, don't suck. Like when we played Tampa Bay and what was that? It was 3-2 we won, right? Or
Yep.
4-2. Was it an
3-2.
Okay. The 2 goals he allowed, like the second one wasn't great, but also I thought he had a good game. And then there was also, I feel like there was a game before he lost, but also wasn't his fault. Maybe it was Vancouver. Maybe I'm going way back. What do you have?
You want Sour Patch Kids?
I see him having a little mange over there.
I'll have one. Can you throw me one?
He's having a little mange over there. And
I
he's
didn't
not
have
sure.
lunch today.
That's why
And
he's been
he's-
so quiet over here.
He's staring at me while he's enjoying the Sour Patch Kids that he knows I want.
All you wanted was a couple on the table. He's like, no, you'll be too distracted. Next
Putting
thing you
them
know,
in
he's
the
up to
bag
his
was
elbow in the
infinitely
bag.
more distracting.
I think,
I can't remember. Jack Campbell, you're all right, kid.
you know what would be
Hang
great?
in there, Liam.
It'd be great if the Oilers could, they know Campbell's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a little run support, you know? One of those games where it's like, No matter what happens in net, we got you because we put up a fucking touchdown.
I like that idea, but I want to see them put up that touchdown in their own zone where they don't give up any good opportunities, where they make everything.
They gotta be dogs.
Yeah, keep everything on the fucking outside. I want to see them come in their own zone and just handle that fucking thing for them. So you know what? Here's a couple fucking floaters. Here's 20 shots in the game. 1 goal, let's go on. Even if it's fucking 2-1, I don't care. They need to show up for him in his own zone.
We will get some new line combos tomorrow against the Islanders. Let me walk through the forward group for you boys and let me know what you think. Fogle, McDavid, Hyman. There is your first line. Nuge, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi. Janmark moved back down to the third line with McLeod and Costin. Holloway, Malone, Ryan round up the top 12. Liam?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they got to shake things up a little bit. What was the top line again?
Fogle, McDavid, Hyman.
It's probably the right thing to do.
I think McDavid and Hyman should be staple to each other.
Yeah, and Tyler brought that point the other day where you need to kind of play in duos a little bit, and Hyman and McDavid are one for me, and Nuge and Draisaitl are the other right now. And yeah, I like those. I guess Janmark wasn't great.
I guess Jay's not buying that jersey, hey Tyler?
Yeah.
I like the addition of Fogle right now to those two guys. I think Fogel's kind of like that dog on the bone out there right now. He's playing pretty well. Maybe not putting up the points you want to see, but in terms of players on this roster who you can put with those guys, I think I like that addition.
Hey, in the last 5 games, McLovin's contributing just as well as anybody could hope for a depth score.
Yeah.
Dan, what about the new lines for you?
I selfishly would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Janmark up there before we made a switch again, but if all we can ask for is duos the whole way for the rest of the season, then I'd be happy with the duos that we have with McDavid and Hyman, and then Draisaitl and Yessa. Is that no, not Yessa?
Nuge, Draisaitl, Yessa.
I would have kept McLeod and Puljujarvi as a duo too. I would have been like, hey, these are 3 duos. We're running with them.
Do you think it has anything to do with watching Leon and Puljujarvi? Maybe just have that little connection off the, after practice or whatever the other game. And then he had a decent game yesterday. He was out there hitting.
They look good last night.
If he goes to the fucking front of the net like he was yesterday, I think that's where he's most effective right now.
Moving
He just
that
needs
booty.
Yeah, like
exactly.
dude, like guys come up to hit him and they end up falling.
You can't move him.
Swoogity.
He just needs I would love to see him get a little Zach Hyman spirit in him when he's in front of the net. Cause Zach Hyman's a smaller guy. You're not moving him either. And he's going to get his stick on the puck and he's probably going to steal it somehow.
So if this line plays together tomorrow, and we are pretty sure that Puljujarvi is going to be in front of that the whole damn time, and I'm fairly certain they're going to have some offensive opportunities. Everybody should be looking at the overshot attempts for both Nuge and Draisaitl tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are going to be shooting all day long if you've got the big fella in front.
Oh, well, you have to.
Right?
Have to. Because last night, he didn't get a point on it, but he's the reason Leon Draisaitl's goal went in.
Oh yeah,
he was causing mayhem in front of the
literally
net.
Moved a man.
Yeah,
with his bum.
Yeah. So I like a lot of what Yes is doing right now, but man, he's one of those guys. He's like Fogle.
Find the fucking score sheet.
Like Fogle, he needs something good to happen. Look at Warren Fogle. He's got 3 goals in his last, 5 or 6?
And the first one was a fucking shorthanded from outside from just inside the blue line.
Mm-hmm.
I never really realized how well he can shoot the puck.
Puljujarvi?
Fogle.
Oh, Fogle,
He can rip it pretty well from most places in the offensive zone. Like he's a threatening shot, which could make him valuable in the top 6 if he continues with his confidence. I like goal.
You were talking about some shot props. I'm looking at for our friends at Betway, just at my bets from last night. Shot props are hurting me these days.
I'm telling you, man, look at those 2 for tomorrow.
Shot props are hurting me. I don't like it. I do like Betway, but I do not like losing my bets. Hurts sometimes, Liam. Hurts sometimes. Looking ahead at tomorrow, quick score prediction. Nation Dan, you're up first.
I will say, because it's worked for me the last few times, I'm going to say the Islanders win 4-2.
Yep.
Usually I'm wrong.
I'll say the Oilers win 4-1.
Rick?
It's the type of season right now. Can't keep them down to 1. It's probably going to be 2, but we're going to pop 5. So 5-2 Edmonton.
4-2.
3-2.
Remember that time James Neal scored a shitload of goals against the Islanders? That's what I think of when I think of that. I guess they're in a new building now, but that ring in New York.
Draisaitl and McDavid connecting in overtime in both New York or on the island, and then right in New Jersey right afterwards as well.
I want to add an extra layer to our score predictions because we do this every game.
LeMayo.
A LeMayo?
A little mayo.
I like Lil Mayo.
Go ahead.
I like Lil Mayo the rapper. What do you think about that, Liam? You didn't see that shit coming. He's an alien.
Never heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Be gone, thoughts. Go away. I'm a man of God.
Miracle Whip.
I am stunned.
Not so obvious game day prediction for tomorrow, Tyler, as you throw me a Sour Patch Kid.
I'm going to finish this bag of Sour Patch Kids.
We missed.
Awful throw.
But it's on the table here. I think it's in the
Careful.
headphones.
All right.
We're channeling the GDB here. Your not so obvious game day prediction. I will start. I'll inspire you. Kaleem Costin with his first tomorrow.
The Oilers get multiple goals with both McDavid and Draisaitl off the ice.
I like that. Jack Campbell shutout.
Oh, loud. Dan?
I'm going to say that Matt Barzal gets a goal and an assist.
What is this? Islanders Nation?
Yeah, who invited this guy?
I told you, I have to go with when I go with the other team, we win. So I'm just going to keep trying to stick to it.
Liam, what do you got for tomorrow?
I will go Puljujarvi has 2 points.
Hey.
I like that. I like that. Again, you could have just poured me a little pile on the table, but you refused. All right.
Oh, that one was blue raspberry.
Do you know how they color the blue ones, Tyler?
Pardon?
Do you know how they color the blue ones of those Sour Patch Kids?
They're good. They're blue raspberry, aren't they?
They use beaver butt.
Shut up.
For our friends at Twig and
Aster
Berries.
gland. Look it up.
twigandberries.ca. Go use the promo code NATION15. You'll get a little discount on your order if you're out in St. Albert. Go try on some undies.
And then come over for dinner after.
Tyler will cook you dinner. He might even cook you some frozen vegetables and garlic and butter.
If you're lucky.
We did a B-cast the other day, and Tyler was like really distracted during the B-cast, and then eventually he's just like, "See what I'm doing?" And he was so excited because he had some fresh frozen veg in that frying pan.
What game was this? Because I feel like at the end of the games, he's like usually halfway to bed. So what day were you still cooking?
You were at the
And
game.
if it was a 2 p.m. game, I'm really worried about why you were cooking dinner. Yeah,
It was a loss to LA.
Yeah, it was.
What time was that game at?
That was an 8 o'clock start.
game.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
I went to the game,
late.
had a couple beers, came home.
Oh, so it was drunken. It was drunken frozen vegetables.
About halfway there.
I get it.
I love it. Then you look like you got something to say.
No, I said enough.
Are you going to go to twigandberries.ca and use the promo code NATION15?
Like I do after every show.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Liam rolls through a fresh pair of undies every show.
Doesn't wear the same ones
Justin
twice.
Timberlake of undies.
365 pairs.
Word association?
I just want to, real quick before we get to word association, Frank Saravalli over at dailyfaceoff.com released his first trade targets list of the season. Go check that out. See who's on the block. So Coombsy, our boy Cam,
We should post it right here.
kind of aggregated a little bit some of the names that may interest the Oilers, even though it may be a little bit unlikely, like a Bo Horvat. Wouldn't he just absolutely solve some of the forward issues?
No, I think you're going to see a JT Miller type of out of him.
Next up, Jacob Chychrun. We've been talking about him for months.
That's Campbell too, with his nose. Convenient.
This is a podcast. People won't know what we're talking about.
So there's Frank's article. He's got Bo Horvat first on the list. Patrick Kane, you know that helps. Jonathan Tate. Okay, you get Tyler's choice. You can have one of them, Kane or Taves.
Am I considering the acquisition cost?
Yes.
Taves.
Rick?
Yeah, I think I'm going Taves too.
They're both 34.
Yep. They were drafted a year apart.
Oh, there you have it.
I take the defenseman.
Dan's going defense. So you got Jacob Chychrun fourth up on the list. He's only played once so far this year, I see.
Yep.
What else you got? Keep scrolling down, Tyler. John Klingberg.
They had rumored interest in him in the summer though, right? So I think that's why it's worth keeping an eye on him. But he's a righty.
So then you would have just walk through it. You would have Barry, Bouchard, Klingberg.
CC.
Yeah, but
One of them would have to play their offside.
One of them has to go because that contract's big.
Yeah, unless you're flipping Barry.
And you're still trying to find $3 million extra.
Well, the Ducks will probably keep half.
Timo Meier, I'd love it. Not happening.
Yeah, and he's got a $10 million QO coming in the summer.
Anthony Duclair, you mentioned him earlier.
So
Tyler.
Frank went into a little bit more detail here. So Anthony Duclair scored 30 goals last season and in 31 goals in 74 games. He's hurt, blew out his ACL over the summer.
Yeah.
He's close to returning already. He's making $3 million. The Panthers cannot afford to activate him, but if he's healthy, they have to activate him, which means they need to trade someone or trade Duclair before they can bring him back. And the names Frank listed were Reinhart, Bennett, and Duclair. If you can make the money work, which would probably mean you have to trade one of the $3 million guys somewhere, I would love Sam Bennett or Anthony Duclair on this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Bennett would be more of the defense.
Can you imagine too, just how annoying it would be for Flames fans?
It'd be fun to piss people off.
It would be so fun.
And this might be a spot where Florida has to give someone up for pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might just be forced. If they get to the point where Duclair's like, I'm healthy, I'm ready to play, they might have to just go, okay, call every team around the league and be like, who wants him?
Does Duclair have a bit of an edge to his game, or is that, am I thinking of someone else?
There's points where he'll be, I think he needs to stay motivated.
So no.
When he's motivated, he does.
We need someone who's self-motivated.
But if they sit there and they go, Sam Bennett's on the block,
then I'd be more prone to look at Sam. I don't even think I'd look at Duclair, to tell you the honest truth.
I have a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
What if we were able to get Duclair?
Yes.
Do you remember he used to have that really good chemistry with Max Domi?
You want them both?
Why not? That
Probably
would be
too much money.
Yeah, so they both.
What is the salary cap?
Yeah,
never heard of it. Max Domi makes $3 million.
Yeah,
maybe you get half, so that's 1.5. So you have $4.5 million. You have to move out. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem. I don't think it would ever happen. Just looking at Ken Holland's history, I don't think he's going to go after any of the big guys.
I don't think he's going after anybody at all.
I think he's going to be right horned up for Jonathan Toews. That feels like such a Kenny Holland.
That does feel like a Ken Holland.
The one time he goes all in, it's for the guy he put on all those Olympic teams. That's a Kenny Holland move.
Yep. He knows what he can do. He'll even talk about him at international tournaments.
Dude, I promise you, some of those guys would appreciate having a guy like him in their room.
I think
probably,
they would too.
sure.
I think that's the kind of move, like you can talk about, like, hey, if you were to go get like a Bo Horvat, like I think the guys in the room would be like, oh yeah, like good player. But like, I feel like Jonathan Toews is, if you want to get your room amped up, even though he may not be.
He's got the rings.
He's got the rings and he's got that
story.
clout.
And yeah, whether you like it or not, he's got a resume.
NHL top 100, Jonathan Toews.
Yeah. Oilers would put up a banner.
They could.
Just for bringing him in?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jonathan Toews just walks into the room wearing all his cup rings and his gold medals from the Olympics.
Yeah, but I want to see him walking in like, who was on the plane there last? Was it Wentz? No, it wasn't Wentz. It was Kirk Cousins. I want to see him walking like that.
Shirtless.
Like, yeah, chest hair out, all these gold chains and stuff.
I want to see him walking in your Oilers Crocs. That's what I want to see him walking.
I will definitely give him to him.
Vladislav Gavrikov.
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Defense first defenseman. Left shot, 27 years old. Has actually scored twice in 18 games this year.
We do need a guy who just all you do is keep pucks out.
Frank says, what does the package look like? The Blue Jackets received first and third round picks for David Savard in 2021.
Oof.
Gavrikov is probably a better player and definitely younger. I think he costs you a second rounder.
How much?
And
He's
maybe
hitting UFA 2.8 million.
I think he's Kulak 2.0.
What did they paid Lagesson and
A second and another pick.
And then you re-signed him.
I'd be okay with that, but then you're looking at, there's some guys that are gone then. Like the only lefty you keep then, you keep Nemo, but then Ryan Murray's got to go.
I think would you give up for Gavrikov, who again, good defensive defenseman, has proven it at the NHL level. Granted, hasn't played in a lot of big games for Columbus. Would you do the second round pick in Niemelainen for him?
I was just thinking that Finnish guy going to the Finnish GM.
And doing this with
Niemelainen, if you believe in Broberg, Niemelainen's a spare part.
I don't think he is.
I don't think
so. Then
he gives a different flavor of defense than anybody else.
I think in the long run they'd like to have both of them in the lineup.
But Kulak and Nurse are signed long term.
But Kulak's not certainly certain. What, 4 years?
It's a long time.
But you look at like moving a guy like that in year 4, maybe year 3, if Broberg and Nemo are pushing him down.
But I'm saying by next year you can't have Broberg and Niemelainen in the minors. You got to have them up.
Do you not think Niemelainen's replaceable?
I think he is.
I think he is.
I think people like him because he hits hard, but other than that, he's a 6'7" D man, and I wonder about his upside.
I think people like him because he gives Edmonton something that we don't have right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Does he? When was the last time he really cleaned somebody out?
Last night.
Did he?
He dropped one on the blue line. Yeah. And then he fired another. He stopped another dude in his tracks in the fucking corner on the right.
Okay, we'll cut that part. I don't know. I'm not like, I like Niemelainen. I don't think he's a guy like, oh, we got to keep him. Like if something comes up where you can improve this defense and Niemelainen's a casualty.
He's not untouchable, but I'm not out there shopping him either.
But you also have that. I know he doesn't have any NHL experience.
Another tour duty for Andreas Athanasiou?
What about like that Desharnais? That's his name, right?
Vinny Desharnais.
He's like 6'7".
Oh, I thought we were bringing back Little
He's
D.
down with an injury again. He's fucked up his hand again.
Okay.
But I'm saying, right, like
he's a righty.
The left side of your blue line.
I don't have any untouchables on defense.
No, I probably don't either.
Not now. I think probably in June, Broberg was close to, but I don't think Broberg's that close anymore.
What I'm saying is like looking ahead, Nurse and Kulak are here for the window, right? If you think your window's the next 3-4 years to really give her and try to give McDavid and Draisaitl everything they can while their contracts are still on, and you have decent deals, Kulak and Nurse are going to be here for that whole time.
We're talking.
You're looking at AHL with probably already a player in mind to take over for Kulak.
And that guy, but again, by that point, it should be Broberg. No. You don't need both Broberg and Niemelainen in your organization.
I'd love a guy right now that could push Kulak down one.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe that's Vlad Gavrikov.
Yeah, but I think it might
Never heard about him until just now.
I think it might be better to push Bouchard down one and give that better defensive partner to Kulak. And I know that makes that may not even work actually because that sets you up with a weird fucking third pair.
Kulak was the Barry Whisperer in the playoffs last year.
I was going to say maybe that's the recipe for success.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you guys make of? We're talking about Evan Bouchard. What do you make of Evan Bouchard's season so far? Again, before we start, this is a player with 121 NHL games under his.
No one's fucking career goes in a straight line upwards.
Nope.
Ups and downs.
This is his second
I am not
NHL season.
I'm not giving up on him yet.
Me neither. But what I would like is a scenario. Yep. I would like a scenario where he's on the third pairing playing power play.
See, I think they came in this year and they said, hey, listen, I think he's good for 2. And it's just not quite there yet. There's we came in this year, had a couple of our younger players penciled in for certain areas with a certain amount of growth. And I don't think we've seen that quite yet.
I think the Oilers did it's easy to say now, but they did a bad job in the offseason of sheltering those second year guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just expected
all the younger. We have too high of expectations of Puljujarvi's going to take a jump, Bouchard, McLeod, and really like Skinner too, I suppose. And really Skinner's the only one that's taken like a big stride and been like, yeah, this guy is like,
I think
looks like an established NHLer, which I think
parts of
like
Bouchard's game's actually gone backwards a little bit.
I think he takes
which is fine. I mean, like I said, it goes ups and downs, right?
I think his patience might be his biggest weakness.
Yeah. I think he's
absolutely insane. And he's at both ends of the ice. Sometimes he'll like mess up the puck because he's just like looking down at it and he's like, oh, I got some pressure. And then it's like something shitty happens. Or he hits a guy 200 feet down the ice, take the tape pass. It's like it's so frustrating. And then in the offensive zone, we start calling him the shin pad assassin because he takes so long to get the puck off his stick.
Even when it comes off, like everything's being blocked right now. It makes no sense.
Don't you see a guy he's gripping the stick right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
He needs one desperately.
I also think the whole block shot thing is getting blown just a wee bit out of proportion.
Tell me about that.
So I looked into the numbers. This was before the New Jersey game. So there were 145 defensemen. I think we talked about this before too. I don't know about on this show, but 145 defensemen at that point when I looked into it who had played at least 200 5-on-5 minutes. Bouchard shots on net per 60 minutes was 8th amongst 145. And I looked and calculated the blocked shots per 60 between him and those other high-end D-men, guys like Brent Burns and Eric Karlsson.
Sorry, how long is the window? What kind of window? What kind of time period are we talking?
Just the season, start of the season until after the LA game.
Okay.
So we're not including Vegas and New Jersey, I guess, but that's just the numbers I have up here. His blocked shots per 60 was less than Burns. I think it was less than Karlsson's. Of those top 8, it was less than like some of those guys.
I bet you his is up significant in like the last 5 or 6 games.
Probably.
And that's why it
what's
feels so
destroying.
fresh to us right now.
But the point is, he's still getting shots through on the year as a whole at a very elite level. Like him in the offensive zone, I'm not actually worried about like the block shots taken up.
He'll figure out how to step to the side.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. I'm more concerned about him getting beat wide on the rush as much as he is, and him looking lost in the D zone as much as he is. That's what's actually concerning for me with Bouchard.
And I think that's where he needs a Duncan Keith, that type of veteran guy who's been around and knows how to fucking take care of a young kid like that.
Yeah, 100%.
And I know it frustrates a lot of people.
It's like that is not Ryan Murray.
No, Ryan Murray's got to try and do his best to keep his own ears out of above water.
Yes,
he's
great
not
tan.
Out there, he's out there fucking swimming with somebody else.
It's almost a shame Cody Ceci doesn't shoot left.
Yes.
Have we
That'd be a
tried
great
that?
burner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was he doing in the summer? Why wasn't he working on this?
Yeah,
road hockey
figure it out.
stick.
Figure it out. You don't see that, ambidextrous defenseman.
Maybe that's what we need.
Dude, we played somebody a couple games ago, and I don't know what it was, but he ended up flipping his stick for the fucking face-off.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a left-handed shot who flipped it righty, or vice versa. I can't remember. And I was like, wait a second, did I just see that? And then you slow it down, and you can even swap it back afterwards.
What do you mean he
sick.
swapped it?
So instead of shooting like you normally left-handed, so I'd be taking the face-off backhand on the backhand. He swaps it. So he's holding, instead of holding it like a righty, he's got 2 hands like this, so he can just pull it back with the curve.
Sick.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
nasty.
It was very creative.
What about that pitcher for the Blue Jays? What was his name?
Pat Van Dyke.
Oh, that's all I could think of when I thought of Cody Ceci switching sticks. Drives by the bench, like takes one shot, goes on the right for a face-off, goes down the ice, grabs a stick on the way by, gets a lefty. That's how he shoots it.
Nobody's doing that.
I'm telling you, it could be an advantage.
Could be something,
Could be a disadvantage.
Hey, you're the head scout here. Maybe you start teaching the kids that this is the thing they need to learn.
Exactly.
Look out, world.
Right? Experience a world-class mashup of snowboarding and style right here in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium. A heightened fan experience grants you front row seats to watch the best snowboarders on earth go head-to-head in the largest stadium big air contest Canada has ever seen. Of course, I am talking about the FIS Snowboard Big Air World Cup presented by Toyota and Explore Edmonton. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster right now. Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
It is time for your favorite segment.
Word association.
With the applause.
Yeah, I thought that was.
I felt like you deserved it.
All right, I got 3 of them.
Liam's getting resituated over here.
Yeah, Liam's ready.
This is his thinking pose.
I'll be honest, these aren't that good. Our order today, we will go Liam, Bagged Milk, Dan, Rick. Liam, Bagged Milk, Dan, Rick.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then me. The first one, the Connor McDavid OT winner against the Golden Knights.
Great.
Sexy.
Top.
Repeat.
I realized it was one word.
Vintage.
We the best.
Indeed. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' red hot start to the year.
Hot.
Feeling
I'm going to say erection.
Convenient.
Sustainable.
Predictable.
Oh, I feel like he's probably pumping his own tire right now.
You know me. Jack Campbell getting the start tomorrow.
Good.
Deserved.
Nose.
Correct.
Nervous.
And I say deserved because like he's got to get in there at some point.
Yeah, I think he's been
like
Pull
13
this guy
days now.
out.
He's out a bunch of days now. He's almost at like 14.
Perhaps a
2 weeks.
rehab stint. Isn't that what they call it in baseball?
Like what they did to Shane Wright.
What did they do to Shane Wright?
They
sent
just
him down
healthy
for-
scratched him for 5 games because they figured out there's a loophole in the CBA that says if you healthy scratch someone for 5 games, they're eligible for a conditioning stint.
But it's only take 2
Just
weeks, right?
send him
Yeah.
back.
So their plan is they waited, did all this fuckery. What? So that they could healthy scratch him for 5 games perfectly leading up to this point so that his 2-week conditioning stint perfectly rolls into the World Juniors, and they don't have to make a decision until January.
What? That is brutal.
If we did that here, holy Lord, would the fucking Twitter world be crushing Ken Holland.
So is he?
And the league would change the rule.
So they can do that rehab camp whenever they want.
I think it's only once.
No, but he can start whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to like healthy scratch him for too many.
No, I'm with you, but it's just like weird. I just don't get it.
What they need to do is they need to put in like a one exception to the whole CHL NHL thing, where like every team's allowed to have one player, or make it like a first round pick rule. Like if you're a first round pick, you're eligible for the AHL. It's ridiculous.
Well, didn't they just change something when 19-year-olds could now play in the American League after COVID?
No, it's been a while.
I thought there was maybe
it's always been an NHL CHL thing.
Maybe it was just a thing when players were playing in the American League because of COVID, and they just allowed those players to keep playing.
We should have.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
The AHL team should have one underage player.
I know hindsight is 2020, but we should have used COVID's year as a way to bump up the draft age and eliminate any issues from COVID and players not being able to get their profile during COVID
Up
year.
a draft age?
Yeah, make it so that you can't draft kids until they're 19.
So Connor McDavid would have to play one more year in the juniors.
I think you probably have to have like exceptional circumstances.
Exceptional status,
I don't think we see that big of a deal. Anyways, I don't think there's.
The one way I like doing it is you got to be 19 to be drafted in the second round or later. I think that one has potential.
What's wrong with 18? Good.
I don't know. People say that you don't have a good enough read on the prospect. Like a sport like football, you don't draft them.
Yeah, because
they're
like
still busting football, to be fair. So
they're in their early 20s or whatever, right? When they get drafted football.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck.
Football's a little different too. Like if you had some 18-year-olds playing football, they'd be absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
Yeah, they are very large men.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They should change the draft rule in junior, not the NHL.
To what?
That's a good point.
Because junior kids right now in the OHL,
I think it's just the dub.
Is it just the dub? I know in Quebec they at least do a year ahead, but in the dub they get drafted in the last year of Bantam, where in the other two leagues, at least one of them, you get drafted in your first year of U18.
When you're 16 instead of 15.
Yeah, and it makes a massive difference because you can't even play a full season when you're coming out of U15. So Connor Bedard, for example, got exceptional status, but if he didn't, he would just have to play another year of midget AAA hockey or U18 AAA hockey, where in Ontario or Quebec, whichever one it is, maybe both, they can just go right into it. Just makes sense. Like, why would you want to pick and then not be able to play him? You should have the option of doing what you want with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Your property. Gosh.
Yes. Before we wrap up the episode, 9,281. Tyler, I just wanted to touch really quickly on the Tatar goal from last night. You didn't think it was...
Listen, I understand it's a good goal. I know there were no rules that were broken. Just feels like there were.
I agree, but there's nothing wrong with feeling that. It's dirty.
Was weird.
Like, how the fuck? Why? Come on! Like we can barely pick up a fucking pass, and this guy can use his right hand, knock the puck down his left side, and whack it in with one fucking hand. Like how the fuck?
Like he's hitting a ground ball to a peewee baseball team. Like lobs it up and knocks it himself.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I guess a lot of people do the exact same thing when Connor does some sort of fucking stupid thing. Like how he scored when he's like dribbling the puck on his stick for 45 minutes.
People would have called it a travel or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. Like,
I know.
If Connor did that or Leon did, we'd be like, "Whoa, did you see that? You just did, my God."
My thing is this something that could be exploited? Can you start giving alley-oops? You're in on a 2-on-1. Defenseman lays down. See it. Just lob it up to the guy's hands and he'll just tee himself up.
I'd love to see it. Like if Connor's on the left side on the power play, he skies one, right? 20 feet in the air over the pile, and Leon just smashes it home.
After catching it and teeing it up himself.
He chokes down real low on his stick, so he's just using that fat blade.
How
protecting
sick would
the
that
plate.
be? You just park Draisaitl back door and you lob one in there and he's choked up.
Take that, Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
That's way too high to be over the...
Anyways, I just watched that Tatar goal. I was like, oh, that shouldn't count. And then I was like, oh, well...
You don't want it to.
Well, like I guess he didn't break any rules. Like I feel like gloving the puck down, it should have to touch the ice or something. I don't know. It was weird to me.
The glove rule is weird. Do you remember when we played Calgary and Zadorov literally just picked up the puck and threw it out of the zone?
They got a penalty.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he?
He didn't get called on that.
They do miss a lot of these. They do miss a lot of these. I've seen like in the last couple of games where they've kind of done under over.
But even the
puck.
Tatar one was almost like he caught it and had to lob it to himself. Like, that's not just batting it down. That is like catching it and putting it back in the air.
That's what I was just thinking, is that you can't really make that what he did. I've watched this like 20 times in a row since we've been talking, but you can't really just not grab the puck and do that.
Like, that's clear. He grabbed the puck to lob it to himself.
I think you probably get more leeway if there's nobody around you, you're not avoiding anybody.
See, and to me, like, I know this goal came against the Oilers and it hurts, but like when I saw that at real time and the execution level on
Beautiful.
it that
Nasty.
fast, it's like, whoa.
That's why I'm not overly fucking bummed out about the game. There's this stupid fucking Skinner flub. And then there's this happens once in 1,000, like
Yes.
whatever. We get a lot of Connor goals and Leon fucking goals. So y'all can have that one.
All right.
Do you remember when that Montreal fan was like Thomas Tatar?
Thomas Tatar.
Tatar.
Domi does it really well, and so does Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg. That is not the name I was expecting to come out of your mouth. Thomas.
For our friends at DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Tourism Jasper, Twig and Berries in Canada, Snowboard, at Oilers Nation Radio's in the books, hit us up. There's a couple things I want to know. What's the Oilers' biggest need right now? ON Radio podcast.
So
I also want to know, for Tyler, what did you think of the Thomas Tatar goal from last night? With that, we're going to wrap it up. Have the great rest of the week, everybody.
Shout out Josh T. Park.
Thanks for listening to Oilers Nation Radio, delivered by DoorDash. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.